Hey there, everybody. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 64 of the OverMark Podcast. That's right, it's the big 6-4. We're talking about the Nintendo 64, the golden era controllers with just enough buttons to piss your friends off and ruin some friendships. And speaking of legends, although I'm not sure if they were actually even brought up yet before this sentence, the man joining us today, well, he's leveled a warrior not once, not twice, but 64 times. You know what I'm saying? He's consumed 64 pizza bites in a single sitting, taken 64 dabs without taking one blink, and personally delivered 64 beds to homes across this great nation. He's the man of the hour, the enforcer of the podcast of justice, the guy who will turn a complaint about the OverMark Podcast into a physical confrontation. Give it up for my man Dave right here.
Oh, wow. Hey, everybody. Man, good to be back. How's it going there, TJ?
I don't know. It's going, I guess. I just go to work. We're going on that trip this weekend, so that should be cool. But it's like, you ever you do something and then right before it, it's just like, oh man, I just want to be lazy and not do anything. I got to go do stuff now. So That's the stage I'm in right now. And I'm sure that once I'm there and it happens, I'll be okay. But at this current moment, I just don't want to do anything. But you got to make yourself get up and do something.
I feel that. I mean, at least this is like, probably all we have to do mostly for the rest of the day. So that ain't bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, this is always fun. It's been getting funner lately. We've been having like that one British guy come in and have announced royalty for the podcast. And we have been having James Gandolfini coming in like somehow and just really putting a lot of really good vibes and energy into this podcast. And, I've just something
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've been really appreciative of it. And wow, what a treat for these fans of this podcast and humanity as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty special times. We're not doing too bad.
Right. So, anyways, we're going to be talking about Raw from October 6, 2025. That was this Monday. Where are we at now? Thursday. So,
yeah.
So we're a little bit behind, but we always are, and who cares? Because these shows, for the most part, haven't been too great. So I doubt you're missing out.
I think we're right on schedule. Because usually we would do Dynamite and Raw on Thursday.
I don't mean our schedule. We're right on time every time. I just meant compared to that show actually happening. And I know that we were doing it fine, and I could care less. I was just meant like, if you want the up-to-date one, until we're making a living on this, this is what you got. And enjoy it, because nobody does it better than Dave and TJ, and probably a whole bunch of other people too. But until then, we're going to say that it's us. So
that's right.
Yeah. So follow us on all those social medias, OverMark ENT. Linktree in the bio. We're on pretty much everything. You check it out. We appreciate you. Give it a like. Or don't. You can even get on there and antagonize us and call us names. I think that helps too.
Probably tell you to go F yourself, but if you want to.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't want to deal with any negative crap. Be nice to us. I'm sensitive, even though I'm a big guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that there was something that we may have discussed before this.
There is, and there's something that we forgot about, and we had made a bet a couple episodes ago, and the loser had to do 5 push-ups, and
like a month ago.
Unfortunately, was it that long ago? Mr. TJ was on the losing end of that bet, so he's going to give us 5 real quick right now, and everybody cheer him on.
I don't know if you're going to see it that well.
Oh yeah.
Nobody wants to see
Put
that.
your butt away. There you go. Free show. That costs extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at him go.
It's moments like these where I'm reminded of how out of shape I am.
You won't see that on other podcasts. And
excuse me.
Speaking of other podcasts,
so we thrive on being accountable. if we're wrong, we'll call each other out. We'll call ourselves out. And that's just, if we say we're going to do something, we'll do it.
That's right. Even if we forget a little bit and we're a little behind on the correction or whatever, we'll always fix it. And yeah. Speaking of fixing it, you want me to go into Raw and let you catch your breath and then you do Dynamite?
Mine as well.
Oh, yeah. So we got Raw from October the 6th, 2025, with an attendance of 11,476. Not bad. They were set up for 11,739. Looks like they had 263 available. Maybe they sold out. Maybe they didn't. That's pretty damn close, though. And they got almost 12,000 people in the building, so can't hate on that. Was at the American Airlines Center in good old Dallas, Texas. You know, Hank Hill would go to this place if he was a real fella.
Maybe.
And so we opened the show with Roman Reigns promo and then some brawling with Bronson Reed. They had some pretty solid back and forth, you know, and Bronson evoked the Wild Samoans, you know, Roman's uncle and father. And, you know, it was pretty personal little back and forth. And then, of course, they brawled and it was awesome. And, you know, decent start to the show, I thought.
It was okay, but Bronson Reed, for some reason, man, he's just not clicking with me.
Yeah, I think it's his accent. I don't know. You don't expect a Samoan guy to have a Australian accent. Maybe that's it. I'm not sure. But I agree. He's something's not quite there yet. I don't know.
Too clean. Remember, like, Kane, like other guys, like these monsters, they were unstoppable, and the only reason that they didn't go nuts is because they had somebody like kind of taming them, and it doesn't seem like they really have to try that hard, huh?
Yeah, no, he not that great, but he'll get it figured out. Probably.
Not bad, just not like awesome. Okay,
average. You know, he could probably do better, and maybe he'll do better eventually. It's just he's still a fairly young guy, isn't he? Not even 30 yet.
I don't know. I thought he was like 56, but I mean, I can't even tell time. So
Google's listening to us. Oh, I was right off. He's 37. He should literally be in his wrestling prime right now. I'm a complete retard.
Whatever. Let's tart our way on.
Well, speaking of retarded, we had Maxxine Dupri defeating the Women's Intercontinental Champion, the man Becky Lynch, via a countout in a non-title match. And shout out to Brandon, because I know how much he likes Maxxine Dupri. But this match was not for me. I'm not sure who it was for, but fairly awkward, most of it. You know, whatever. What did you think?
I mean, Maxine's better than she used to be, I guess, but maybe it's because she was wrestling Becky, and it's like Becky, when she got counted out, like the look on her face, it's like she was like trying to sound like surprised and pissed, but it just looks like somebody stuck their finger up her ass or something. It was kind of weird.
It was flat. I mean, Maxxine is hot. She is very attractive, but anyway, we had we'll move on from that. The next match, one of my personal favorite gals, we had Roxanne Perez defeating Lyra Valkyria, and this match was okay. It was slightly better than the previous match we just talked about, but they need to take the Bird Lady gimmick off of Lyra and do something else.
Well, she actually is young, and I'm sure that will happen at some point. This was an alright match. They let them do a little bit more than most of the chicks.
That's true. They let them go more than 4 minutes, so yeah, good for them. And then the next thing up, we had CM Punk, LA Knight, and Usos promo, and it was kind of setting up the main event for later. And they came out there and they talked pretty good trash to each other, and then you know, Jay is still kind of being a dick, and he was trying to hit Punk with like the surprise super kick, and Jimmy stopped him, and then, you know, there's just a whole thing.
Punk's all like, I'm guessing it's the same guy that's never won a World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, when he was talking to LA Knight.
Yeah, and because he was like, go ahead and take a guess who's the guy that in this ring that's never lost to Seth Rollins. And then that's what he hit him back with. That was some good stuff. But I like this. Not bad.
Was it this episode that he hit him with the light switch comment, or was that a episode
I can't remember. I don't think that was this one.
Yeah, Brandon was real hyped for that one. But anyway, we had the next match. We had Kairi Sane defeating Io Sky with a little bit of shenanigans going on, and believe it or not, there are more women's matches on this card than anything else. So it's like TJ and I always say about women's wrestling being in a great spot right now. I think when more than half the matches on the card are women's matches, that's proof positive. And this was a decent match. I've warmed up quite a bit to Kyrie over the last few months, and Io, of course, she's one of the best wrestlers on the planet. So yeah, this was entertaining enough. It was just a little better than your standard Raw match, but not much.
It was good, and talk about the whole letting them do stuff. They're not letting them do everything they'd want to do, because if they did, they'd be beating each other with that kitchen sink out there, trying to do
Oh yeah.
everything.
Well, and speaking of doing everything, we had a 6-man match up next that I actually wasn't mad about. Usually we get too many people in these matches and I start to hate it, but we had Penta Dragon Lee teaming up with AJ Styles to defeat the Judgment Day, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Dirty Dom in a 6-man tag match. I think the difference between like this style of a 6-man match versus some of those other ones that we usually shit on is every guy in this match is a star and is over at a high level. You know, maybe Dragon Lee is the least over guy in the match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know. This was a. It's funny, you know, the big difference between the AEW and WWE 6-man matches. So like it's like a clean 6-man match where the interference is happening, but it's not a lot, and they're not really bringing in 16 different objects to beat each other with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the AEW one, it's clean for like 30 seconds. And then they're interfering. The refs watching every single guy in the ring at the same time for the whole duration of the. So I mean, it's just, I guess it depends on like what you want in a match, but most people prefer the high energy AEW match as opposed to this match, which was also it was a decent match. I think it was fair to say that it was pretty good for WWE TV match standards, but I just think it's funny the contrast and the difference between these two companies and what they'll let 6 guys do in a match on a show.
Right. If this was even if this was the same guys, if this was on AEW, this would have been like a 30-minute match where everybody's spamming their finishers on each other and everybody's kicking out at one.
Yep. And they would do the thing where like there'd be a guy, 2 guys standing on the outside of one side, 2 guys standing on the outside of the other side, and then the other 2 guys would jump and then land on them at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll move on to the main event here. We had LA Knight teaming with CM Punk to defeat the Usos, and I didn't hate this. You know, a lot of star power for your main event, which is kind of what you want to see for Raw. It wasn't great knocking it out of the park, but you know, a little better than average Raw main event, I would say.
I don't know. I don't really know how to explain. I expect more from these matches considering who's in it. And half the time they feel like semi-rushed to me. But they're not rushed. But you know, the pace isn't too fast. So it's like they're not running through everything. It's just the matches just aren't as long, I guess, as... I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. It was okay. It was just okay to me. I just feel like with the guys involved that it could have been a tad bit better. But I did enjoy it. It's just I guess I have high expectations for a match that like all these gentlemen are in here.
Makes sense to me. Well, we're gonna move on because that's what we're good at. We're gonna do high point, low point, and we'll ask TJ, what was your high point for this episode?
Well, it was the LA Knight CM Punk defeating the Usos, which again I'm not really sure what else you could really go with on this show. I don't think this was too great of a show. It was just kind of average to me. I wouldn't say it was like terrible by any means. It's just like it's a by the books, non-offensive wrestling show for WWE in 2025 right now.
Exactly. Well, I had the same high point. Like you said, it's kind of hard to put anything else over this. Maybe if some of the other matches had a little bit different people in them or something, I don't know. But you know, overall it was decent. But what about your low point?
It was Maxxine versus Becky. Just a pretty slow match. The facials that Becky does are pretty exaggerated, if that not sometimes comical. I don't know whether that's by design or not, but they really
Wouldn't mind seeing her do a facial. No, I'm just kidding.
well, they were really getting the fans were actually getting hyped up by Maxxine though for a little bit, so I'll give them that.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go somewhere with this in about like a. Did they have the rematch at Perth or whatever? I read today that she apparently is backing out of it because of travel problems or something. Like
Becky?
like she doesn't want to go because of like how long it is. It might be something worth talking about later. But I imagine.
Well, that's weird.
I imagine that this was just kind of shoehorned in real quick to have a match that happened with not much build up for that event.
Yeah. Well, speaking of not much build up, we're gonna have not much build up for this next part. What was your show ranking?
I gave it a 4.
Okay. I ended up giving it a 5. I felt like it was an average episode. Maybe because lately the episodes have been kind of bleh. It appeared a little bit better than maybe it had been, but I don't know. I thought it was just an average episode, But that's not bad. Average is not bad. It's just not great. Yeah, that's all.
It was focused. I'll at least give it that. It didn't have a lot of people that I didn't want to see, so we had that going on. Pretty slow paced show.
Bit of direction.
A lot of ads.
Oh yeah, always.
All right.
Well, let's move on.
I'll take us on out of here, and I'll give us our next quick review that we're going to do here, or recap. I don't know what we can call it, whatever we want, because it's our show. So we got AEW Dynamite. They had an attendance of 2,797, and they had actually 3,198 that they could have sold, so they had 401 left. I'm sure that they got people to fill those seats. It did look like there were some empty, so I don't know how many they did get them to fill. But I know that the AEW shows that I've been to, 2 of them, I've only been to 3, they did have crowd people running around, like filling the spots that looked vacant for certain camera shots. So, but I mean, what wrestling company doesn't do that or hasn't done it before, all of them. But yeah, it was in Daly's place for their homecoming in Jacksonville, Florida.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they started off real hot, Dave, here in a match that I know that you were anticipating and I was anticipating, and they announced this thing on Twitter, and that's how I like to get my wrestling news is from Twitter. I want all the matches put together with not a lot of story, and I want them to be put together on Twitter. That's how it's done, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everything should run through Twitter.
Well,
customer service for companies and communications. Instead of letting on their official website, why would they do that? You can just go to Twitter.
Well, speaking of Twitter and something that some people may have liked or didn't like, there was Jon Moxley versus Tomohiro Ishii. This match was garbage.
Yep. Garbage.
Old man, confused bisexual biker guy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's about it. And then we got a street fight with the Hurt Syndicate. MVP Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin defeating The Demand, which that's not a very good name. Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona. This wasn't bad. They had fun. Crowd enjoyed it.
I enjoyed this quite a bit, actually. It was one of the high spots of the show for me.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I agree. Well, then we got Jurassic Express defeating Orion and his friend. What is Jungle Boy Crocodile Dundee now?
I guess. I don't know.
He's got a knife.
He's not for me.
Did you see that?
The only thing... Yeah, I did. I don't know what's going on there. You can't really have a knife in a wrestling match, but whatever.
I'm telling you one thing. Like, if you went in there with that knife with somebody like Harley Race back in the day, they would have taken it from you and then been like, what are you trying to cut me with this? Are you trying to take advantage of me in this ring? They... But anyway.
Probably wouldn't have fly. They would have been like, yeah, leave that in the bag. We're not doing that out here. You can get the fuck on out of here with that.
The only positive thing I can really say about this is that the crowd enjoyed it. TNT champion.
The only positive thing I can say about it is that thanks to this goof, we've gotten 2 great years of CM Punk in the WWE.
Yeah, we have. Punk's enjoying himself. When we got the AJ Lee comeback, and on the last podcast, we talked about a lot of potential prospects of what CM Punk's going to be doing in his future. So maybe you could check that out if you're interested in something like that. We actually have the short form version of really both those topics up right now. So something maybe you could check out. Apologize about my dogs. You'll enjoy hearing them run around and bark. And we'll go ahead and move on with the TNT Championship match with Kyle Fletcher versus Kyle O'Reilly. Just because two guys have the same name and the crowd just chant "Let's go Kyle," and then Kyle sucks. Not feeling it.
No, I mean that kind of, I laughed a little bit at that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, what keeps happening? And they had it happen first in tag matches, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to get these guys in the ring together." But it wasn't a bad match per se. It's just everything's fun and games and a joke.
Yeah, not serious.
Well, they were supposed to be a serious sports presentation. You remember they used to have Shaq? They had Shaq on the fucking show at one point. You remember that?
Yeah.
You think Shaq?
He wrestled Cody Rhodes and Jade Cargill.
You think Shaq's gonna be on the show again?
No.
You think Tyke Myson's gonna show up on the show again?
No.
Exactly. People took them somewhat seriously at the beginning, and I think a lot of that had to do with Cody Rhodes. Him talking to the people, all that. Because could you imagine them talking to Tony Khan? They're like, oh fuck. The only thing that they could get out of the guy is like, oh, he's got some money, and I could get some of that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll go ahead and move on to the TBS Championship Open Challenge match with Mercedes Moné defeating Lacey Lane. I guess was she in NXT or WWE? I forget. I didn't really
Yeah, she was Kaden Carter. I was just looking that up.
in NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was buddies with Priest, right?
I think so. I know she was like, she had some decent matches in NXT with like Toni Storm and Chelsea Green. You know, she was in NXT at about the same time as them.
Huh. Well, I never seen anything of her. And from what I saw tonight, I'm not really too hyped to see anymore. Not trying to hate it. It wasn't good or bad. It's just nothing that would stick out to me as being like, oh, I want to see more. You know, it's just a random average match, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, if she does pop up, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, I'm tuning out. I'm just saying it's like nothing stood out to me there. But then we have the AEW World Tag Team Double Jeopardy Eliminator match. Brodito and which Brody King and Bandito, they are defending against Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this match was not for me. I don't know. It was all right. I mean, you know, obviously they did well enough in the ring, beyond well enough in the ring. I shouldn't discredit their in-ring ability. There's no reason for me to care about this. And I can't stand Brodito. You got Burger King and some masked guy, and it's just, every time I watch this, I feel like I'm losing brain cells.
Yeah, same here. Let me yell at my dogs real quick.
No problem. And while he does
I yelled
that,
at him.
we're going. I was going to hit you with the.
Oh man. All right.
Fill in air sound.
Sorry about that. The dogs were just getting to me real fast. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and move on. I feel like that match was kind of okay, by the way, but it's just like I don't really care about Okada and Takeshita's slow burn to them feuding together, and I could give a fuck less about what Brodito does. I'd rather watch them fight over a ham sandwich. I think that'd be way more entertaining.
I wouldn't mind seeing Brody King fight the Burger King guy.
I think that they got rid of him. Did you see that?
Well, no, he passed away. What, Brody King?
No, they got rid of the Burger King mascot. They said people thought he was creepy.
Really? Oh no, I'm talking about the plain Burger King guy.
He died?
Yeah.
Let's not talk about this. I'm gonna be devastated. But we'll have to get some burger.
Speaking of devastating,
we'll have to get some Burger King crowns and all that.
Do an episode wearing them.
Yeah, but
God damn it.
Anyways, we're gonna move on here. The main event: Orange Cassidy defeating Pac. I actually like this match. We'll talk about this more in a second. But Pac's jacked. Did you see how
incredible shape?
He's bigger than he's ever been, and this was really similar to every match they've ever had. But every match they've ever had has actually been pretty decent. If you don't like Orange Cassidy, you didn't like this match. But it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, you know, I've warmed up to Orange a bit over the years, but, you know, he's still a little bit of the goof. But when he was on the run where he had the title belt and he was wrestling like every show and, you know, was like pulling out these crazy come from underneath victories and stuff, that, you know, that was a believable storytelling for that guy.
He can definitely wrestle.
Yep.
All right. we'll go ahead and move on here, and we're going to do the high point, low point. And what was yours, Dave?
Well, my high point of the show was the J Street fight with the Hurt Syndicate and the Demand. This kind of felt like a match. I circle back to comparing this to the WWE match. This kind of felt like a match where most of the guys involved in it are kind of a big deal. I know Bishop Khan and Toa Leona are, not on the same level as these other four guys, but they're getting a lot better. And I don't know, I just liked it. I found myself not wanting to fast forward or look down at my phone during this match. So if you got me not wanting to do either of those things, you're probably doing something right.
All right. Well, yeah, we said earlier it was pretty decent. They all guys involved. I've enjoyed Ricochet's AEW run. And the Hurt Syndicate have been good. I guess besides their dislike for MJF joining their group and then that whole thing being shelved. But my high point was Pac versus OC. I enjoyed this match. I've enjoyed all their other matches too. They have good chemistry together, and yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good high point.
All right. Well, what was your low point?
Well, Jon Moxley versus Ishii. I know I say this every episode, and almost every episode, my low point is Jon Moxley, and I almost want to pick a different one just so that I quit beating a dead horse. But I don't know. I'm Jon Moxley'd out, man, and I'm really Ishii'd out. I was done seeing this guy like 2 or 3 years ago when he got there, and I saw him the first time.
I have the same low point, and I'm gonna gloss over this, but it's like I think Ishii, and a lot of people may not realize this, has lost them more viewers than most guys on their roster. I'm dead serious.
I'd be willing to take that bet. That's a good one. That's a safe bet, I think.
I don't think anybody realistic, like any AEW fan would argue against that. They would say that we're wrong, but it's like, like Riho. She is capable of doing the same thing, I believe, to some extent, but at least she has a draw to some kind of sick goose out there that, like, what a chick like that would look like. Ishii has no draw. He looks like shit.
Nope.
He wrestles a certain style that I don't feel like a lot of North American fans like. And overall, there's just no upside. I think he's only ever won one singles match in AEW total. I think any other match he's won has been a trios or tag match, usually trios, but just no more, man. Focus on the talent that you already have. You don't really display anybody in a manner where they can get over. It's just all trios matches and stuff, and it's just leaves a lot to be desired, like I always say.
It do.
All right.
Well,
I think we can
tell us about your show ranking.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to move right on to that. And I gave it a 2. This episode sucked. It's been pretty shitty for a while, and this is right in level with all their other crappy shows that they've been doing.
I gave it a 3 just because there were more matches on it that I would enjoy than usual. And just as what, still below average, but trending upwards for me slightly.
Taz is going to go away for a bit. He's getting surgery. So I think Shivani's going to be back on Dynamite.
Shoulder surgery Jones.
Yeah, 100%. But, yeah, we can go ahead and move on. It's another atrocious week of wrestling. Better than some of the ones in the past, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, well, and speaking of not saying much.
And I got news for you.
Oh, what is it, Mr. T?
And I got news for you.
Oh, we are? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, wow. The studio audience really liked that joke.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Dickhead.
Guess we got Rick now. What's going on?
What is going on?
Nothing. Cora walked in and said, hey.
Oh,
But anyways, we can go ahead and do this new segment, and it's going to be about TNA, right, Dave?
yes, it sure is. And TNA's got a big move for 2000. Jesus, I'm getting old. 2026. So TJ, looks like TNA Wrestling might finally be landing that big TV rights deal we've been hearing whispers about. Carlos Silva went on Coachman's podcast, Off the Ropes, and flat out said they're in the legal phase. That's basically the home stretch, man.
Yeah, that's kind of to the point where you're just waiting for some lawyer to stop like redlining every other sentence. If they're already swapping contracts, I guess it's real. I'm not a lawyer myself, but it seems like that's not talks are ongoing. We've already picked the channel or the company, whatever it is, and they're just trying to figure out a couple of little commas and maybe some numbers there.
Exactly, and Silva sounded confident too. Said the network's excited about them, and the deal would get TNA on a live platform 52 weeks a year. That's a huge upgrade from the pre-tape shows on Axis that have the cable packages don't even have.
Yeah, it is. Because right now they're pulling about like $100K weekly. So Silva's talking about $250 to $500K if they hit a better network. That's a pretty massive jump. They need that kind of reach if they want to hang in AEW. Remember we were talking about Santino thinking that they can overtake him.
And honestly, this might be the best time for it. WWE is going global. AEW is locking up TV until 2027, and mid-tier promotions need that identity boost. TNA's roster is quietly stacked too. Josh Alexander,
Not anymore.
Moose, Nick. Oh, that's right, he's not there anymore. He left. Nick Nemeth, Eric Young's back in the mix. They've got the Hardys, they've got the Dudleys, they've got the talent. They just need the eyeballs.
I will say this: TNA has kind of been like the cockroach of wrestling, right? You can kill it or you can't kill it. Every 5 years, people are like, saying it's over, and then they just kind of crawl back with some kind of new logo, new name, in a new arena, and somehow they got some kind of like better theme song. I guess it's about it, and maybe Jeff Jarrett, but no Dixie.
Right? It's like the Sweet Caroline of wrestling companies. You think it's played out, but the crowd still sings along every time. If they can lock a platform that promotes them like a real brand again, not buried on the 10 p.m. on a channel no one scrolls to, they could finally rebuild that mid-2000s buzz.
And Silva's been kind of way more transparent than Anthem's ever been. He's out here giving updates every week. That alone gives fans more trust, I feel like, than they did before.
Yeah.
Imagine if Dixie had said, like, we're in a legal phase instead of everything's fine while AJ was, leaving.
Yeah, exactly. If it goes through, 2026 could be their biggest relaunch since Spike TV. The key will be presentation, production, lighting, live crowds, and consistent time slots. You get that right, suddenly people start flipping over from Raw or Dynamite during commercials again. I don't know about that, but maybe.
Yeah. And, hey, a rising tide lifts all boats. More competition means better wrestling overall, right? So if TNA gets that big old bag and they put on great weekly TV shows, I'm all for that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, same here. Let's just hope the deal's with a real network this time, not channel 498 on Pluto between dog shows and lawnmower racing.
Yeah, Pluto's not as bad as it used to be, I guess. But yeah, that would be nice. I feel like they could definitely get more than 100K. If the only problem is no Monday, no Tuesday, no Wednesday, no Friday, no Saturday, no Sunday, Thursday.
Yep. But that or they're going to have to go head to head with a AEW. I don't know.
Maybe that's what WWE wants. Maybe that's why they're helping.
I have been watching. You remember I told you a while ago that the Roku channel has like a TNA channel?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I've been watching that, quite a bit when I don't have anything going on. And man, as much as I kind of poo-pooed on it back in the day, I did watch it, and it was a lot better than I remembered it being.
I don't know. I didn't watch it too much. I only watched when there was like people I cared about, like Nash, Hall, Hogan,
Sting,
Dudley,
Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle,
eventually
Booker
AJ.
T, Mick Foley. They had a lot of good people.
But I'm just saying, mainly early on stuff. I didn't keep watching. I would only watch here and there too. I remember they were at their like peak when that whole Brooke, Bubba Ray or Bully Ray thing was going on, getting married.
Yeah,
got their highest viewership or something like that. But overall, I'm rooting for him. I'm sure WWE would just love it for him to pop up on Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, we can move on here. And we got another one we're going to be talking about, and that's WWE finally shaking up its creative. But, we're kind of wondering if it's going to matter. So, Dave, it looks like WWE is finally realizing what the rest of us have been screaming all year. Their creative's gone flat. Body Slam Plus, oh man, we're hitting real hard right off the bat here. Says that they're restructuring the whole writing setup after months of backlash. In honesty, it's probably about time. The shows have felt like they've been written by an algorithm since SummerSlam. Probably earlier than that.
Yeah, man, and not a good algorithm, like one of those free trial AIs that still watermarks your promo. You can tell morale's weird, and even the crowd it starts doing the heavy lifting for the storylines. People aren't booing heels anymore; they're booing the booking.
Exactly. It's bad when fans start chanting that, we want anything else. So apparently Road Dogg staying in charge of SmackDown with John Okada. They need to get Road Dogg out of there. But they're bringing in new writers to freshen things up, which is code for they finally realized that no one's laughing at the backstage skits anymore.
Right? Like Road Dogg's an OG, and I respect what he's done, but some of his segments sound like they were ghost written by 1999 Road Dogg. The dude's stuck in a time loop. They need people who get today's audience, as much as I hate to say that, TikTok brains, short attention spans, meme savvy fans who will clip a promo if it hits hard.
Yeah, not the same 3-part authority figure yells at a talent formula. People want stakes. They want a feeling like something might actually happen. Remember when every segment used to have like a hook or some kind of surprise? Now, half the time, it's just, we'll sell this at Crown Jewel and cut to commercial. Or I guess whatever their pay-per-view might be at that point.
Yeah, and we'll settle this in Saudi Arabia booking. Nothing says suspense like waiting 6 weeks for a match at 1 p.m. on Saturday. But I will say this, if TKO is stepping in, it's probably serious. Those Endeavor execs don't care about nostalgia, they care about metrics. If the fans are tuning out, they're pulling the levers.
Yeah, and they should. You can't brag about record profits and then act shocked when fans say the product feels stale. Wrestling's hot again. AEW's getting, I don't know about that. It says AEW's getting a buzz, but I don't know what. Is that just Tony?
Well, no, they're getting a buzz on Kratom backstage.
Oh, okay. And TNA's about to land a new TV deal. WWE can't afford to feel like it's running in its place. Well, they'll be fine no matter what.
Yeah. Well, this is their wake up call moment. You can't coast on Cody's pyro and bloodline flashbacks forever. You need stories that move. You need moments that make people tweet in all caps. That's what that's what made WWE money in the first place. Emotional connection, not just corporate polish.
Couldn't agree more. I guess keep Road Dogg around if you want. That's fine. But bring in some hungry minds who aren't afraid to pitch some crazy stuff. Let some of the characters evolve a little bit. Let stories breathe. Stop acting like every storyline needs to survive 12 pay-per-views. I don't necessarily know if they do that too much, but they got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Oh yeah, exactly though. Fresh writers, less micromanagement, more personality. That's the fix. Because right now, WWE is not bad. It's just predictable, and sometimes that's kind of worse.
Yeah, those are some facts. And look, if they don't fix it, AEW, TNA, even New Japan's going to eat their lunch in 2026, maybe creatively. But fans have too many options now. You can't bore people in the streaming wars era. WWE is the content master.
Yep. So yeah, WWE, shuffle those creative decks, but make it count this time. Don't just rearrange the writer's room. Rethink the whole playbook.
Yeah, I agree. And if we start seeing like another 6 months of Cody versus whoever stared at him wrong backstage, I'm filing for creative control myself.
Yeah, OverMark booking 2026. We'll have Roman Reigns defending the title against Burnout itself.
Nah, who's the guy with the Stormtrooper helmet that's all glittered up that fell through the Shockmaster? That's who I want him to go against.
Oh shit!
Yeah, you remember like Booker T's like, oh no, he fell. Sid's like, what the? That was some good stuff. But yeah, the creative's been stale for a while. The beginning of the year it was better. You can go back and look at our ratings. I hope that they fix something. Road Dogg should probably go. He was the lead writer during Vince's era too for SmackDown during good couple chunks of years, and he never did a great job then either. I feel like.
No, not really.
I mean, I know Vince was in charge then, but like it's like now he's not, and the show doesn't really seem like it's that much better. SmackDown's rough, man. It's usually one of the crappier wrestling shows every week. Excuse me, but that being said, we're gonna move on and we're gonna do a little bit of AEW talk here, and so this one's kind of here is like AEW's $1 Million Texas Mystery and the Secret Ticket Clause. Oh wow, that's like a Willy Wonka movie title or something, but with Tony Khan and the I don't know, somebody's hiding coke in some baggie somewhere, and if he finds it, he gets more of it. But so WrestleNomics got their hands on some of these government records. They've been doing that for All In like every year, and this was for All In Texas, which is their All In event this year. And it turns out the real story is way different than what Tony Khan's been telling people.
Oh, great! Another record-setting crowd that somehow gets smaller once you look at the receipts.
Exactly. So Tony Khan claimed the show did around 29,000 fans. That's the number that he proudly was throwing around. Press releases, social posts, the whole deal. But according to the actual government certified attendance, it was 21,973 scanned through the doors.
So he inflated it by about 7,000 people? That's not a rounding error. That's more, that's like twice a Dynamite crowd.
Yeah, the total attendance, counting staff and non-ticketed people, was around 23,700. AEW's projection to the state before Texas for the show was 33,000. So they told the state that 33,000 people were going to be in that place. And then they ended up going with saying 29, but the real number's closer to 22.
Man, that's the wrestling promoter math special. We sold out, brother, with nearly 8,000 seats staring at you.
Yeah, and here's the kicker, right? The city of Arlington applied for over $1 million in public funding through Texas's Event Trust Fund based on those inflated projections.
Oh, so they basically said, yeah, we'll bring 33,000 people, give us $1 million in state money, and then drew 22,000?
Exactly, which means that the reimbursement gets reduced. They're not getting that full payout, but AEW wasn't trying to score They weren't just trying to score taxpayer money. They were also trying to hide how many tickets they really sold. So it was probably closer to, instead of $1 million, they got $750K.
Oh, yeah. So this was the wild part. The contract drafts had AEW's legal team trying to sneak in a clause that the city couldn't release the attendance numbers, ticket data, or even turnstile counts. What in the fuck?
Yeah, they wanted the city to agree not to publish the disclosed attendance figures or ticket numbers or box office receipts, and even to help AEW legally argue that all the trade data was a secret. It was like trade secret data, I don't know the exact term, but just a trade secret basically. And if anyone tried to make it public, there would be a problem and it would hurt their business.
A trade secret? Dude, it's a wrestling show, not Colonel Sanders' spice blend.
Oh, exactly. And on top of that, AEW wanted any disputes with the city to be handled in private arbitration. No jury, no court, just their own chosen provider behind closed doors.
So they wanted the state's money, but none of the state's transparency? That sounds about right.
Yeah, and the city said no dice. Texas law doesn't even allow government entities to hide that kind of info or do private arbitration on public contracts. The city official literally said, people ask us for that sometimes, but it's not allowed.
Translation? Nice try, Tony, but we've seen this carniac before.
Yeah. Look, WWE inflates their numbers too, but AEW went the extra mile trying to legally bury theirs. And the irony, it all came out anyways because it's public record.
Man, you would think after the All in London turnstile controversy, they'd stop playing this game, but nope, doubled down.
Exactly. They're trying to act like a major league. But this is the kind of stuff that gets you laughed out of the boardroom. You can't call it all in if the attendance report says all out.
Yeah, that's perfect. At least next time, Tony, when you say 29,000, make sure Texas doesn't have a copy of the receipts.
You know my main question about this? Did he believe it was 29,000? Was he lying on purpose? Or did some of his yes men in the back tell him that?
Right. Did he get that information from somewhere and he just ran with it? Or is that something that he came up with himself? I guess that would be something that we would need to know before we judged old Tone here. But Either way, y'all are giving us fake numbers. And that's not great.
Well, it's funny because I've seen people say that, like, oh, Tony can't lie because he can't lie to the shareholders. And it's like, what fucking shareholders are you talking about? This is a privately owned company by Beatniks Investment LLC. Look it up. It's literally Tony and like his sister's company. Yeah. But, and when it comes to AEW, Warner Brothers could have a stake in it, and that would be a part of their contract. But that's something that we've talked about before, so we don't need to get in that too much. But, in the end, since this guy's own his company, he can technically say whatever he wants. Max could get on about it, but what are they going to do? Drop his contract? I guess they could. But
yeah, maybe. I don't know. Goofy shit.
Yeah, I just thought that was something that was funny to bring up. It's like, oh, we lied about the attendance numbers, which happens, but then it's like, well, we tried to get the state of Texas to sign an NDA basically to where they can't talk about our that literally tells you that guy, like everybody says, NDA, NDA, NDA. You get an NDA, you get an NDA, you get an NDA, you get an NDA.
Right?
We all get
He's
NDAs.
the Ellen of NDAs. Fuck yeah.
Oprah. It was Oprah.
Whomever.
Yeah. It could be Maury. It could be Jerry. They're all nice enough people, I guess. But we're going to move on to somebody who's a pretty nice guy here, and that's going to be us talking about Big E. And he's opening up about men's mental health in wrestling. Men's mental health is a serious thing in general, and it's something that a lot of people don't take seriously. You get judged for it. Isn't that right, Dave?
That's true. That's true.
So, this one hit
People
me.
call you a sissy and stuff.
Yeah, they do. And this one hit me a little bit deep. So Big E sat down with Stephanie McMahon on her podcast, whatever it's called, I forget. I think it's What's Your Story? And he laid his soul bare, talking about depression, suicidal thoughts, therapy, everything, Not the highlight reels, not the hype, just raw humanity. And, it takes guts to do that, especially for a guy like Big E, who's always, been the smile, the energy, and, good vibes. You remember him in the New Day? It was just the embodiment of happiness.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. When people think of Big E, they think of positivity, that feel the power energy from the New Day, right? So to hear that behind the biggest smile in wrestling is someone dealing with that kind of pain, even at his peak, it's pretty heartbreaking, but it's also incredibly important.
Exactly. It kind of reminds us that success doesn't fix the wiring that's in your head. Like, if this guy's on TV selling merch, world champion, he's loved by millions, and he's still battling those demons that started when he was 9 years old, that's not a weakness. That's a human condition,
Yeah. And especially for men, and especially men in pro wrestling, there's that old school mentality, be tough, shake it off, don't talk about feelings. That mindset kills people, man. The whole business was built on guys pretending pain didn't exist, and now you've got someone like Big E saying, no, I needed help, and I got it. That's real strength.
Yeah. That stigma's been there forever. You grow up hearing, man up or you'll be fine. But, what Big E said, about looking in the mirror at being a kid and, not wanting to be himself, that's some pretty serious shit there. That's a 9-year-old 9-year-old there, seriously, like already fighting a war inside his head. Imagine how many men carry that same kind of pain their whole lives just because nobody ever told them that it's okay to get help.
Exactly. And it wasn't just, I was sad sometimes. He was diagnosed with major depression and psychotic features. That's serious clinical stuff. Hallucinations, medication, hospitalization, and then he becomes one of the most beloved guys in WWE history. If that doesn't show people that you can fight through it, I don't know what else does.
It's that kind of honesty that makes it a powerful message, I feel like, because Big E didn't just frame it like, I beat depression. He was saying that he still struggles with it. And, that's true. You don't cure it like some kind of broken bone or something. You manage it. You build habits. He mentioned meditation and mindfulness kind of changing his life. He found something that worked for him. That's real healing at work there.
Yeah. And you see it in him now. Even though he's not wrestling, he's still out there speaking, showing up for people, living that New Day mantra in a different way. He's proving you can be a strong man, a tough man, and still admit that you need help. That's how the next generation of wrestlers and fans start breaking that old silence.
It's wild, right? The pandemic forced a lot of us to stop and deal with stuff that we've been ignoring. And for him, that pause led to reflection instead of self-destruction. He turned it into something that helped heal himself, and that's a pretty big deal there.
Absolutely. And for anybody that's listening, man, take notes from Big E. If you're fighting through dark thoughts, it doesn't make you broken. It makes you human. Therapy isn't weakness. Medication isn't failure. Medication isn't weird. They're just tools to help you stay alive and keep going.
Yeah, that's the message right there, right? Big E's not just a former champion. He's a blueprint for how men can start changing the narrative. It's okay if you're struggling, right? And it's okay to need help.
Yeah.
It's okay to talk about it, especially if you're, some big deal guy who's super successful and everybody thinks that you got your shit together.
Yeah, well said, man. Big E's story is one of the most powerful things to come out of wrestling in a long time. And not because it's about titles, but because it's about truth. The kind of real life courage that changes lives.
If you're listening out there and you're dealing with some kind of these things that, we just talked about on Big E, reach out to somebody. There's always help. You're not alone.
Yeah, the strongest thing you'll ever do is ask for help. That's real power.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
I've dealt with depression issues, since I've been 13. So, I wasn't as young as Big E. Or maybe I didn't even understand it when I was younger, and really could categorize what that is. You get older and you mature, and life experiences kind of warp, who you are. And it can be really tough when your whole experience and mindset is clouded by some kind of chemical imbalance that makes everything that you do negative or suck or not be enjoyable. I've learned how to live with what I got going on, and I've done a really good job with like my own healing in my own mind. I found my own way to deal with it, and I feel like I do a really great job at it, especially considering things that happen in my life that could cause me to have a lot of problems with it. Get help, 100%. You're worth it. Your family certainly thinks you're worth it. And it's, mental health is more important than physical health, because physical health relies on your mental. You can't have your physical without the mental. So, it's just, I like that he brought up this message. I know you've had your issues before too, Dave. And, I can promise you're dealing with anything, message me on Twitter. I'll help you. I know Dave would too. We don't care.
Yeah.
But, it can be really, really hard, but it's one day at a time. And, you have to make yourself happy. And it's a very tough thing to do. And we're all struggling with that in life.
Yeah, you only can really do it for yourself, as they say. Jesus helps those that help themselves. Not that I'm trying to be religious, but that's just a quote that folks like to use.
Yeah, that's definitely true. When people see that you're taking initiative to better yourself, even if you're just taking a step, they'll be more willing to help you. But it can be tough when you're fighting against yourself to do it. Trust me, I've been there. It's tough, but you can do it. We believe in you. Both of us right here.
Yeah, that's right.
But wherever I'm pointing, both of us believe in you. Your family believes in you. If you got that pet, that guy believes in you more than anybody in this planet or on this world, brother. We're gonna sign off here, though. We appreciate you. We appreciate Big E's message. I'm gonna get a quick one to be out of here tonight, Dave, because we don't need to reach around for 3 minutes. We're gonna reach around for 2 minutes and 59 seconds. So I know that's a big difference, huh? But I appreciate you, man. Wow. It's always fun. This is a good one. I appreciate anybody that's listened, liked the podcast, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
We've been getting a lot of comments on certain videos lately, and just keep them coming. You can disagree with us. You don't even have to be a dick about it. You could, if that makes you feel better about it, and we'll respond to that too. But we're open to it's an opinion. There's more than one way to look at something.
I just wanted to point out before we go, I've been trying to work on getting us some sponsorships for the show, and I might have secured one.
Oh yeah, what's that? Oh no.
No, I'm just kidding. They're not really. No. I'll tell you what does, though.
Oh no.
We'll do it live.
Oh wow, that guy's real pissed off.
Oh, she is? No, that's not gonna happen. I'm pretty sure it's not.
You fucking whore.
Oh man, can't do it.
I mean, we're just gonna spam you guys with sounds here at the end of the show.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Let's see here. I got a pre-song to get us out of here today. So before we do that, though, thanks, TJ, and I love you a lot, and I hope you have a great time this weekend. And we're gonna ride these memes into the actual song, and
could happen to you, 'cause it happened to me. The situation broke out when I spoke too much blood. Reached in my drawers, pulled out my blood. Could happen to you, 'cause it happened to me.
In T. Oh yeah, we need to get the bubbles wrap in there too. But love you too, Dave. Love the fans. If we got any, I'm still seeing them from the Middle East popping up. I'm getting them notifications. It'll say,
Are you homosexual?
No, it'll say that those it'll say the person's name is subscribed to you, and I'm seeing some of our important Middle Eastern fan base. We love you. We appreciate you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Just remember that the OverMark folks are king, and you shall treat us as such. But I don't know what I'm talking about. We're gonna get out of here. I'm sorry, I'm a goof. I hope you guys have a good night. I appreciate you, Dave. We're about to hit that music. You guys have a good night.
See you guys later.
DJ's yelling at a gift, Dave's eating crab. We skipped our bills to watch Raw live and ranked 800 wrestlers just to survive. Our muscles are fake, our takes are loud. We believe